Hello, and welcome to the 2025 Annual Report for the Administration Department of the City of Platteville. In this report, we will briefly review some annual activity data, 2024 budget performance, the Director's vision, and an overall conclusion. The Administration Department consists of the City Clerk Office, Finance, including the City Treasurer function, IT, and City Assessor, along with responsibilities related to the city and utility budgets, TIF finances, and the airport. The admin teams are, from left to right, Accounting and Finance Manager Jeff Even, Utility Billing Specialist Empress Stevens, Accounting Specialists Beth Van Netter and Zach Dean, myself there in the middle, City Clerk Colette Steffen, and Deputy City Clerk Dave Frayne. The City Clerk's primary functions include administering the elections, compiling the council meeting packet and providing custody for public records, issuing licenses and permits, and facilitating the annual assessment process. The primary functions of the finance team are processing payroll, paying the bills, maintaining the accounts, property tax bills, cash and investment management, utility billing, and cemetery management. In addition to providing support for the City Clerk and Finance teams, the Administration Director has responsibilities relating to the annual budgets for the city and utility, TIF districts, IT, debt, insurance, and serves as the airport liaison. "2024 was a busy year. In the City Clerk Division, we promoted Colette to be our new City Clerk, had not one but two new Deputy Clerks due to a family move, implemented electronic poll books, facilitated a market revaluation assessment, and incorporated major alcohol and tobacco licensing reform. We recruited and onboarded Jeff as our new Accounting and Finance Manager and a new Accounting Specialist, Zach Dean. We migrated seasonal employees onto the time and attendance module, redesigned the budget book, issued notes and bonds, including funding for the new fire facility project, updated the 5-year capital budget, and introduced a quarterly capital project status report. In IT, we transitioned to a new IT support specialist, Rafe Ambort, and implemented cybersecurity measures and went through a CGIS audit. At the airport, we welcomed our new partner, Apex Aero Center, for airport management services, and helped Airport Manager Ryzen Pereira get familiar with some of the financial aspects of his new role, including enhancing airport fuel accounting. 2025 started out with a bang, with 2 elections already under our belt, which included establishing a central count location for absentee ballots. Along with the annual licensing process, the City Clerk will be collaborating on finalizing an event policy and permit, and training the Deputy Clerk in the full management of some of the facets of the elections. Finance are aiming to implement cemetery management software and make a decision on outsourcing utility bill printing and mailing, along with centralization of cash deposits and revamping employee expense reimbursements. Also taking place in 2025 will be fire station project financial tracking, ARPA reporting, finalizing an IT replacement schedule, and coordinating with the Bureau of Aeronautics on airport funding status in projects. Here are some metrics from the Clerk and Finance divisions. These demonstrate growth in permit issuance and voter participation, along with a decline in tax bills processed as a result of the state legislature's elimination of personal property taxes. Also depicted is the planned decrease in unrestricted fund balance as the city utilizes surplus to supplement taxes for capital project spending. On this slide, we have some metrics from the airport. Fuel sales have declined due to the sale of a based jet and the relocation of another based jet, along with the removal of a small flight training school. We are anticipating fuel sale growth in 2025 under the management of Apex Aero. Hangar rents increased in 2024 and are expected to see additional growth in 2025 as hangar lease rates are moved closer to market. With the requirement to remove crops from the runway object-free area, land rent declined in 2024. Overall, though, 2024 yielded a return to balanced airport financials after the 2023 gap year before our partnership with Apex. I have outlined some budgetary fluctuations on this in the next slide. Election wages were higher than expected due to the late delivery of the Badger books. Home taxes were lower than predicted, while interest earnings exceeded expectations. Transitions and enrollment changes resulted in lower than budget health insurance costs, and audit fees were higher than budget due to increasing audit rates along with the need for additional audits of grant funding. There was an unbudgeted expense and revenue offset due to the elimination of personal property taxes and that's impact on privately owned aircraft hangars. In 2024, property taxes on the hangars were actually billed to the city, with the city then invoicing hangar owners for the taxes. The cost created an overage in the finance outlay budget, which was offset by the payments from the owners. There were also expenses related to creating newly required tax parcels. Those were established by the end of 2024 so that hangar owners will receive a tax bill directly in 2025. The renewal on property and liability insurance was more than anticipated, while workers' comp insurance came in under budget. Negotiation on the contract for IT support services from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville resulted in a larger than expected cost. The transition to a new IT support specialist during the year resulted in some surplus that will be utilized in 2025. Capital improvements for administration in 2024 were the electronic poll books known as the Badger books. The 2025 capital improvement budget includes $35,000 for cemetery management software to be funded through cemetery revenues and maintenance funds. Major projects upcoming for the airport are crack sealing of the runways and the purchase of a new snow removal truck. A number of organizations around the city provided support for the airport's Santa Fly-In event. The city is very grateful for the support for events at the airport and is looking forward to continuing these partnerships in 2025. The Airport Master Plan provides the city with guidance for future airport development. Completed in 2023, the plan lays out the major considerations for the 20-year forecast period. These include potential runway extensions to meet the needs of larger turbine aircraft and alternatives for hangar and apron area development. You may be interested to know what is going well for the administration team. First and foremost, the team itself. Coming out of some more challenging dynamics, the new leaders and staff have been a real asset to advancing the operations of all 4 units of City Clerk, Finance, IT, and Airport. The focus is on delivering excellent service to both internal and external customers. Staff are willing to and have stepped up, putting in long hours during intense circumstances when the need arises, and all with a can-do spirit. At the airport, the partnership with Apex Aero Center has brought stability, professionalism, and vision. Also a success is the city's financial flexibility that comes through practicing the tenet of fiscal sustainability. Pandemic funding has enabled the city to take advantage of new funding sources which require a local match through utilization of available unassigned general fund balance. In conjunction with this, the city's use of the debt service adjustment to levy limits has provided capacity in the tax levy to absorb increases in operational costs. Are there any struggles for the administration department? Well, yes. Increased capital spending, new laws, new accounting requirements, new funding sources, new public and regulatory focus on elections, and new city activities all create additional work while staffing levels have remained static. While staffs willingly step up to meet these challenges, it means there are no margins for turnover gaps or medical leaves, and it limits the opportunity for cross-training to cover unexpected absences. Also, when staff are maxed out, there is no capacity for absorbing new service requests from both internal and/or external partners and stakeholders. Another aspect is the assessment process. Because of the exponential property value growth, both nationally and in Wisconsin, city property owners have experienced large increases in assessed values. This has cast a spotlight on assessment services for the city, which have not met expectations at times. What service pressures does administration have? Well, the intensity of elections has significantly increased in recent years, as has been mentioned. This has resulted in increased scrutiny of elections and added expectations from both the public and regulatory agencies. There are now a much higher volume of interactions with the public during an election cycle, many of which are requests for new types of service. For finance, staff have received requests to make non-utility payments online. Utility payments can be made online, but other kinds of payments cannot currently. Staff are planning to review options as time permits. Another pressure relates to information requests. It is not unusual for new grant opportunities to become available in between budget cycles. To make informed decisions on these opportunities requires real-time data on current project commitments, on received bids, on supply delays, on spending, and on surpluses or shortfalls. This data is not readily available through the general ledger system and has to be manually captured and compiled. With the increase in volume of grant and capital spending, a considerable investment of time is needed. Looking to the financial future for the department, what would it look like if the administration department was constrained to a 1% increase in the operating budget? As some service contracts increase at a higher rate, decreases in other areas would be needed. A reduction of staffing is not practical, as most administration functions are essential in nature. Staff are reviewing alternatives through technology and outsourcing to find cost savings. If additional funding was available, how could the department advance? While finance is in need of an additional accountant whose focus would be monthly tracking for grants, for projects, and for equipment purchases to provide real-time data and ensure compliance with grants and projects. Cost is estimated at $80,000 to $90,000. City clerk needs are for an expanded support before elections and increased compensation for election workers. It can be hard at times to find workers that are willing to work long hours under a lot of pressure on election day. External opportunities for support are also being considered. To retain the excellent team members that we have, a performance-based special compensation is desirable. The cost of this is estimated at $10,000. If budget contraction was requested for the department, what would that look like? Well, because the services provided are essential in nature, i.e. administering the elections, issuing licenses, processing payroll, paying the bills, stewarding city funds, creating the budget, maintaining the IT infrastructure, and so on, it is difficult to find potential places to reduce costs that haven't already been implemented or that don't have significant negative implications. This slide identifies some less than ideal areas of reduction that could be considered. A reduction in coverage levels for property and liability insurance, a transition to all electronic documents, including council packets and reports, elimination of the published GFOA budget book, an informational document, but not essential. Reduce or eliminate employee training and development. Reduce or eliminate administration department positions. To sum up, staff are enthusiastic about the work they do and eager to provide excellent customer service, to provide responses to all inquiries and in a timely manner. Increased workloads have made this objective difficult to achieve at current staffing levels. An additional accountant would address compliance, accuracy, information availability, and opportunity response. The city clerk's office has recently introduced central count of absentee ballots as a time-saving measure and is evaluating expanded resources for major elections. I would like to take this opportunity to say a huge thank you to the dedicated members of the admin team whose work keeps the wheels of local government services turning.